Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. This is Ya'ak Hazaki Yahu, and I start this broadcast as I would start any broadcast by first of all giving all praise, honor, and great esteem unto the Most High Power Yahuwah, Bahashem, Yahushua Hamashiach, and to the 12 tribes of Israel who are scattered to the four quarters of the earth. I say Shalom Wabarukim, that is peace and blessings. And I cannot wait to the day that the Most High brings us back together, and we are once again 12 tribes, one family, one nation, under the Most High power, under one covenant. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
I'm joined this afternoon by my most esteemed Ak Kenaniah. Shabbat Shalom, Aki.
Hey, Shabbat Shalom, Akik. Shabbat Shalom, family.
Hallelujah. Yes, indeed. It is another Sabbath day, and we are happy to see it, happy to be in it, and happy that the Most High have given us the ability to live and another day to get the way that He has set forth for us and do it right. So,
Hallelujah.
hallelujah, indeed. So, last night we left off first, second Sam, and we were going through some of the situations that Dawid had taken us as he had become king of Israel, and he had basically elevated the nation, the people, and done the will of the Most High in dramatic fashion. And the Most High had increased him and increased the nation. And I mean, we were on such a high cloud, and it was such a wonderful, wonderful situation. Um, so we pick up today at chapter number 11. And so that's where we left off last night. Uh, he had defeated his enemies. There was even a time of rest that was given from his victories. And when it was time to fight again, he was still defeating. Had put the Moabites to tribute, the Edomites to tribute, set up garrisons and all throughout Edom. He'd done a lot of wonderful, wonderful work. And let's pick up now at chapter number uh, 11.
Khan.
Here we go. Yes, indeed. You got something to add, Doc?
Not at all.
Okay. All right. So we are at 2 Samuel chapter number 11 and verse number 1. Now, we see, I didn't realize that we was coming to this so quick, but it was such a height that we saw with before. And now we pick up chapter 11 and we see the headline reads Bathsheba, David's great sin. So here we go, chapter 11, verse 1. And it came to pass after the year was expired, at the time when the kings go forth to battle, that David sent Joab and his servants with him and all of Israel, and they destroyed the children of Ammon and besieged uh, Rabbah. But David tarried still at Jerusalem. So ironically, we read this and we see that who's supposed to go out to battle?
The kings.
The kings go forth to battle, and instead David tarried still at Jerusalem. So he's at Jerusalem as opposed to being out fighting. He should have been out conquering. Instead, he sent Joab and all of them. Uh, verse 2. It came to pass that in the eventide that David arose from off his bed. So he kicking back. He's chilling up. He's on his bed at eventide and was walking up on the roof of the king's house. And from the roof he saw a woman washing herself, and the woman was very beautiful to look upon. So, oh my goodness, this is to think about, all the wonderful, beautiful, magnificent things that we saw that we read yesterday, and we come to chapter 11, and we seeing this right off the back here. Verse number 3. It says, and Dawid sent and inquired after the woman, and one said, Is not this Bathsheba, the daughter of Elam, the wife of Uriah the Hittite? So right there, that's it. It's over.
Right.
let's uh let's go back. Let's go to the fight and let's defeat the enemies and continue doing great things in Israel. Let that be what it is. Once you find that out, that should be it. Let's see what Dawid does. Verse 4. Dawid sent messengers and took her, and she came in unto him, and he laid with her, for she was purified from her uncleanness, and she returned into her house. Now, why would you send messengers for a woman who has a husband? And it's ironic because when we go back last week when we were reading, it basically was the same situation with his first wife that his father-in-law took from him. He had given him her daughter. He had given her Salakia. He had given him his daughter, and he took her back and gave him a different daughter. Well, after Shaul was dead, and part of the agreement that Dawid would have peace with the Benjamites, so that Yehuda and Benjamin would be at peace. He wanted his that first wife back. Well, she had already had a husband. So I don't know how in the world you go get a woman from her husband and bring her to you, and here same situation. Find out this woman has a husband, and yet he still takes her and brings her to him, and lies with her, and send her back home like it was no big deal. Verse 5. And the woman conceived and sent and told Dawid and said, I am with child. And Dawid sent to Joab, saying, send me Uriah the Hittite. And Joab sent Uriah to Dawid. And when Uriah was come in unto him, Dawid demanded of him how Joab did, and how the people did, and how the war prospered. And Dawid said unto Uriah, go down to your house, and wash your feet. And Uriah departed out of the king's house, and there followed with him a mess of meat from the king. So, I mean, we see clearly what he's doing here. Uh, he goes to get Uriah from the war and tells him to go home and check on things. He even went so far as to like he was just interested in chopping it up with him. Like, how's the war going?
Right.
How's Uriah? You know, this was completely deceptive and underhanded.
Yeah, it's like your response to it was spot on when you said when he realized that this was a married woman, it should have been the end of it.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh but his flesh got the best of him, and he transgressed
kind.
and should have been repenting. You know what I mean? Rather than trying to cover up.
Hallelujah. Yes, indeed. And here's the thing, and this is what I don't want y'all to think. I don't want anybody watching this to think I'm just trying to ride on King David and ride him out and rub him in the crown and all this other stuff. I'm not. These things that are written aforetime were written for our learning. So I want anybody to watch this to understand situations may come up. You have to do better than what you've read. We read this and we get an understanding. If you find yourself in this position, don't do what David did. Don't do what he did. If I find myself in this position, I will not do what David did. I will learn from King David, from his situation, from his circumstance, what he went through, and all the torment that the Most High put on him for this evil, this great evil that he did. Because this was not a light thing to take a man's wife and to try to get the man to go and lay with his wife it's like it's he like make it think it's his. That's what he's doing. Go to your house and wash your feet. And he sent a bunch of food down with him, so he'd have a reason to kick back and eat. You don't have to just he'll lay with her, and he'll think the baby is his, and everything will be good. That's not how you do things.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So especially us. Now that's fine for a heathen. Well, I ain't gonna say it. Well, yeah, I mean that'd be fine if it was a heathen. He ain't got nobody to answer to. His power is Satan. So that's what Satan not gonna punish him for doing something like this. But when you serve the true and living power, the power of the Most High, the power who is the Most High, the power of Israel, he don't take this type of behavior lightly. You
You
know,
don't
you
you don't think that Uriah would have been following the Most High?
Oh yeah, definitely. No, no, I'm not speaking about Uriah. No,
Oh,
no,
okay.
I'm not speaking about Uriah. I'm saying if this happened in Rome,
Oh,
or if this happened
con.
in Greece, it would have been, this type of thing was regular for them.
Hmm.
You know, it wouldn't have been a big deal. But when this happens with King Dawid, you know, big difference. Slacky, let me turn this light on. I didn't realize it was so dark in here. Hold on one second. All right. If anybody who don't know, this weather has turned cold. So yeah,
Con.
yeah, Akazaki Yahoo got his jacket and his hat on because yeah, it's a little bit cool, and I don't like the heat running too much. I got it on, but it's not. I don't want it too much. So, but kind, yeah. So, but yeah, we want to learn from this situation. So I don't think about Hazaki Yahoo just riding out King David because he think he better than King David. No, I don't. King David's spot in the kingdom is solidified. Despite this,
Con.
this is his only negative charge, uh, as is written in the scripture. You know, he's not only in a his spot is not only solidified, but he's already a prince. He's named to be a prince in the kingdom. Yeah, you can't get much higher than that. You can't get better than that, honestly, unless you Hamashiach,
Hmm.
who's destined to be the king. So he's right under Hamashiach. So uh, certainly not Hazaki Yahoo trying to run down the brother, you know. But I definitely want anybody to read this to understand it and learn from it. So let's continue here, verse 9. It says, "But Uriah slept at the door of the king's house with all the servants of his master, and went not down to his house." So he didn't even go down to his house. Verse verse 10. So he done brought him from the war. He wouldn't even go down to his house. Verse 10. And when they had told Dawid, saying, Uriah went not down to his house, Dawid said to Uriah, uh, camest you not from your journey? And why then did you not go down to your house? And Uriah said to Dawid, the ark, the ark of Israel and Yehuda abide in tents, and my master Joab and the servants of my master are encamped in the open fields. Shall I then go unto my house and drink and eat and drink and lie with my wife? As you live, and as my soul live, I will not do this thing. So Uriah, like, man, I'm not with that. I'm not doing that. I'm not finna come out here and try to enjoy what's going on, and uh, everybody that I care about is you know fighting the battle, and I'm go down here and eat and drink and be merry and lay with my wife. I'm not doing that. Verse 12. I wonder if Uriah was a little bit more hip to what David did. You know what I'm
I
saying?
ain't never thought about that.
That's just a question. I don't know if he, I can't say that he was, but I wonder if he was like, hmm, given the proximity of his house, and I wonder how well he knew that palace. That Did he know that the king, you know, was that tub always there? You know, it's a lot of questions. Was if that tub was always in that spot? If Uriah was at that tub, and then if he could look over there and see, now that's the king's palace. If he ever came out on that roof, he could see whoever's on this in this tub. My wife was in this tub. He could see my wife. Wouldn't have had that ever cross his mind. You know what I'm saying? Like, hmm, that's interesting to think about. So, this man was a man of war, so he would have been observant of that. You know what I'm saying? So let's continue. Verse 12. And Dawid said unto Uriah, tarry here today also, and tomorrow I will let you depart. So Uriah abode at Jerusalem that day and tomorrow. So ironically, he just posted up and just chilling. It's ironic he didn't just say, "Well, can I just go back and just, do the fight? Get back in the fight."
Hmm.
He didn't say that. He kind of just listened to the king, like, "What you want me to do?" But I ain't going home and lay with my wife. It was like he knew, like he was right there at his fingertips. David was like, if I could just get him to lay with his wife, he'll think the baby is his and everything will be good. But verse 13, and when Dawid had called him, he did eat and drink before him, and he made him drunk. And he went at even he went out to lie on his bed, and the servant of his master, but went not down to his house. So he went and lied at his bed with the servants of his master, but went not down to his house. So he is not going to his house. He done got leave from the war, but he not going. When I was in Iraq, I had made up my mind I wasn't going. I wasn't taking leave and going home, because I knew if I went, I probably wouldn't want to go back.
God, God.
I couldn't in my mind justify getting back on a plane and flying to, you know, back to the desert. That's where I was, in the desert. And, I just couldn't imagine that. So with the time, I just stayed the whole time. They sent me on a pass, but I didn't go back I didn't come back to my house and lay with my wife, because I probably would have been. I'd have heard those other cats were saying, man, I thought about breaking my leg.
Right.
Like, I don't know how you leave. How you leave your wife. You go down there and you be there, and at that time, that was the height of my relationship. We had just gotten married, and we was doing great. So uh, if I'd have went home, yeah, I would have stayed. They would have been coming to get me. You're a deserter. No, I'm just at home with my wife. So, all right, verse 14. And it came to pass in the morning that Dawid wrote a letter to Joab and sent it by the hand of Uriah. And he wrote in the letter, saying, set you Uriah in the forefront of the hottest battle, and retire you from him, that he may be smitten and die. Like, what? How do you write that to Joab? What Joab will be like, man, what you talking about? I'm not. Okay, well, let's see what he said. Verse 16. And it came to pass when Joab, slack you, and it came to pass when Joab observed the city, that he assigned Uriah unto the place where he knew that valiant men were. And the men of the city went out and fought against Joab, and there fell some of the people of the servants of Dawid, and Uriah the Hittite died also. Then Joab sent and told Dawid all the things concerning the war, and he charged the messenger, saying, when you have made an end of telling the matter of the war unto the king, and if so be that the king's wrath arise and say unto you, wherefore approach you so near unto the city when you did fight? Know not that they would shoot from the wall? Uh, so it's like he's trying to get a gauge on it. But I mean, he told him what he was doing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He told him. He said, he said, put Uriah out there and leave him at the hottest spot and leave him there, that he be hit and he die. Let him die. Don't resuscitate him. Don't give him no, nothing. Put Uriah out there to die. And so I don't know what Joab is checking here. I mean, uh, when the king's wrath arise. Okay, kind. Verse 21. Who also smote Abimelech, son of uh, Yabershith,
Uh, Yeru Besheth.
Yerubasheth, Salakia, Yerubasheth, Toda Rabaki. Did not a woman cast a piece of a millstone upon him from the wall, that he died in uh, the bears? The bears.
Uh-huh.
We have to check out that the bears. I don't think that's the first time we've seen that one. Uh, why then? It said, why you near the wall, and say you, your servant Uriah the Hittite is dead also. I mean, he put in the letter that basically he wanted Uriah dead. Put him out there and leave him. And yeah, uh, ta, ta, Tabase. It's Bates.
The base.
Yeah, Tabates. Conspicuous, conspicuous. So that's obvious. A town near Shechem. So Tabates is means obvious. Uh, let's check out Uriah. Uriah. Yahuwah is my light, my flame. I like that name. That's a
Mm-hmm.
wonderful name. Uriah. Uriah. So let's see what this Hittite is. Hitti. Descendant of Heth. Nation descended from Heth, second son of Canaan. Inhabitants. Yeah. So modern Turkey? I didn't know that. Inhabitants of central Anatolia
Uh,
and a Anatolia.
I don't remember reading that in Genesis. I like.
Hmm. Once inhabited. Hmm. Yeah, I know it says second son of Canaan, once inhabited of central. Hmm. So they may have added that in. Because this is kind of later north of Lebanon, later in North Lebanon. I wonder when they if this has been updated. Because I don't remember seeing this. I remember looking up Uriah. Because I was like, was he really a Hittite or was this just? Because it was another cat called somebody something Edomite. I'm like, was this an Edomite? Like, no, this was a Israelite that they call, kind of like we saw yesterday, Obed Edom.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like this was an Israelite, but I don't know why they called him that. But I think this is actually Uriah was actually a Hittite. Like he was a Hittite. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. So, all right, let's continue. Verse 22. So the messenger went and came and showed Dawid all that Joab had sent for him. And the messenger said unto Dawid, surely the men prevailed against us. And he came out unto us into the field, unto the field, Salaki. And we were upon them even unto the evening, even unto the entering of the gate. And the shooters shot from off the wall upon your servants, and some of the king's servants be dead, and your servant Uriah the Hittite is dead also. Verse 25. Then Dawid said unto the messenger, thus you shall say unto Joab, let not this thing displease you, for the sword devoureth one as well as another. Make your battle more strong against the city, and overthrow it, and encourage you him. And when the wife of Uriah the Hittite, Slikah, and when the wife of Uriah heard that Uriah her husband was dead, she mourned for her husband. And when the mourning was past, now here's the question: she mourned for her husband, but is this the mourning as in the earliest part of the day, or is this the mourning in as in this morning? We're gonna have to look into see if that's the same. I don't know if that's the same word or not.
No,
I
it's
know
not
when
the same.
it's not the same. Okay,
Uh-uh. That's
okay.
like grieving.
The grieving. Okay, con. Okay, okay, con. Um, and when the morning was past, Dawid sent and fetched her to his house, and she became his wife, and bare him a son. But the thing Dawid had done displeased Yahuwah. That's where exactly you do not want to be right here.
Indeed. Indeed.
But the thing Hazakiyahu had done displeased Yahuwah. I do not want that to be written about me. So that's why this is such an important thing to learn. Let's take a look at that. That's 60. Oh yeah, mourning for the dead. Con. Okay. So I wonder what the word for morning is, the evening and the morning. Look, we didn't even look at that. That's in
Bereshit.
Bereshit. Yeah,
Mhm.
con. Chapter 2. Um, you know what? Let's look at that right quick. I'm just curious. So this is Salaki, let me go back. So this is Abel or
Abel Khan.
Abel Con. Okay. Let's go. Bereshit chapter 2, and I want to say about 5. Oh, chapter 1, Salaki. To see, it made the firmament. No, it was 2.
There you go right there.
Oh, it
Verse
wasn't 1?
yeah, verse 1 and 8.
1 8. Okay, Salaki. Okay. Okay, so let's check out this word. Sure enough. Oh, okay. Boker. Oh, Salaki. What I'm thinking about. I don't know
Yeah.
that. I'm tripping. Okay. Salaki. My bad. My bad. Just saying. Look, it took me getting there and before I had to realize whatever I was actually thinking about, which is strange. Second Sam. Now we're going to verse chapter 12. Oh, gracious. So now we done went from the height of everything, and now we in a whole bunch of mess. So because we left off with him displeasing Yahuwah.
Mm-hmm.
Chapter 12 and verse 1. Nathan rebukes Dawid. Oh my goodness, this is not what we want to see. We don't want to see the man, the prophet of the Most High,
Right.
rebuking. I put myself right here. I don't want to see Nathan, the prophet of the Most High, rebukes Hazakiyahu. Like, what you do, man? Like, oh man, sin unto death. All right, verse 1. And Yahuwah sent Nathan unto Dawid, and he came unto him and said unto him, there were two men in one city, the one rich and the other poor. The rich man had exceeding many flocks and herds, but the poor man had nothing save one ewe lamb, which he had bought and nourished up, and it grew up together with him and with his children, and did eat from his own meat, and drink from his own cup, and lay in his bosom, and was unto him as a daughter. And there came a traveler unto the rich man, and spared he spared to take of his own flock, of his own herd, to dress from the fairway, from the fair from the wayfaring man that was come unto him, but took the poor man's lamb and dressed it for the man that had come to him. Verse 5. And Dawid's anger was greatly kindled against the man. And he said to Nathan, as Yahuwah live, the man that have done this thing shall surely die. Now, Salaki, I know I kind of chopped that up a little bit, but I think we get the gist of what was said there. Uh, he gave a parable, basically, of a man having a rich man who had so much abundance and a poor man who had only one lamb. And this particular lamb he treated like a member of the family because it was all he had,
Mm-hmm.
and he had children. And he talked about this lamb eating from the food that he ate and drinking from his own cup. I can't imagine a lamb drinking out of my cup. That's just no. But again, this is a parable. But this rich man who had exceedingly much, he had the ability to do whatever it was he wanted to do. Instead of when he had a visitor come, instead of him taking from his own flock or from his own herd and dressing it and making it ready for his visitor, he decided he would take the single lamb of the man who was that's all he had. And Dawid's response to this was, that man shall surely die. Now, the reason I stopped right here is because that's not Torah. He was just mad. That's why he said that. But that shows you what kind of man David was. David was a man of war. And so this situation, when he heard this, I just imagine him hitting something with his hand, like, as Yahuwah live. He didn't say like, man, that's messed up. That should have never happened. He said, as Yahuwah live, the man shall surely die. Like, that's not even Torah. Like, you take a lamb from a man, you supposed to repay it more than what you took.
Yeah, con.
Instead, he want this man dead. So again, that just shows the character, what kind of man he was. He was a man of war, a great man of war. But let's continue reading here. Like I said, I know I chopped that up, so I wanted to make that clear for everybody who is watching, will watch, or whatever the case. So, verse 5, Salaki, verse 6. and he shall restore the lamb fourfold. Now that's Torah. It's fourfold for a lamb, kind. Because he did this thing, and because he had no pity. So ironically, he just pronounced his own judgment on himself.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because of this parable. So verse 7. And Nathan said to Dawid, you are the man. This says Yahuwah, power of Israel. I anointed you king over Israel and delivered you out of the hand of Shaul and gave you your master's house and your master's wives unto your bosom and gave you the house of Israel and of Yehuda. And if that had been too little, I would have moreover have given unto you such and such things. Yahuwah's like, I would have gave you whatever you wanted. Basically, whatever you required, I would have done it because that's exactly what he was doing. He delivered everything. I just don't know how we get to this place right here. I don't, for the life of me, I don't understand it. Verse 9. Wherefore have you despised the commandments of Yahuwah to do evil in his sight? You have killed Uriah the Hittite with the sword, and have taken his wife to be your wife, and have slain him with the sword of the children of Ammon. Now, therefore, the sword shall never depart from your house,
Mm.
because you have despised me, and have taken the wife of Uriah the Hittite to be your wife. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that is a major cut. He said, therefore, the sword shall never depart from your house. That means you finna be fighting for generation to generation.
And
All
that's
this
that's
fighting. Oh, go ahead.
yeah, yeah. That's what we see. Huh? That's
Yeah,
what we see today.
that's what we read. All this fighting that we was reading, like man, he fighting constant. When he finally got that little rest yesterday, I felt relieved for him. And when we was reading yesterday, I felt relieved for him. And to see this, the sword will never depart from your house. So you're gonna always be dealing with these things. Verse 11. Thus says Yahuwah, behold, I will raise up evil against you out of your own house, and I will take your wives before your eyes and give them unto your neighbor, and he shall lie with your wives in the sight of this son. In the sight of this son. I wonder if he pointed to the sky when he did that.
Wow.
Because if this is the sun, you see, this is the SUN. Let me see if that's the SUN that we're talking about. Um, Sheshmesh,
Yeah, Shemesh.
Shemesh. Yeah, yeah. It meant that's the correct translation. It's the sun. So they're gonna do it like under the sun, like in front of everybody. Like ain't gonna be no roof. Ain't gonna be no walls. Verse 12. For you did it secretly, but I will do this thing before all of Israel and before the sun. Mm. And Dawid said unto Nathan, I have sinned against Yahuwah. And Nathan said unto Dawid, Yahuwah have also put away your sin. You shall not die. Howbeit, because you have, Slicha, howbeit, because by this deed you have greatly occasioned to the enemies of Yahuwah to blaspheme, the child also that is born unto you shall die. And Nathan departed unto the house of you, Slicha. And Nathan departed unto his house, and Yahuwah struck the child that Uriah's wife bare unto Dawid, and it was very sick. Now, ironically, when we was reading, I believe last week, it kept mentioning one of his wives as somebody else's wife.
Yeah. Uh, I forget I know it was. I know it was Abigail, the
Abigail
wife
Khan.
of
Yeah,
Nahum.
Nahum, I believe so. Khan. I was like, why do you keep calling her like this? David's wife. Why do you keep calling her? Which is this one here? It makes sense,
Uh-huh.
but I guess that's to show that did she come from? So she was married to somebody else. So did he? It's like he almost had. He always had somebody's wife. Cause I look now. I'm sorry, but where did he get her from? Where did she come from?
Who?
Abigail.
Abigail. Remember Nahum. I forget exactly the story, but we can read it in let's see, we read it rather. Uh
Was it first Sam?
it was Nabal. I'm sorry. I said Nahum, it was Nabal's
The
wife.
bomb.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Nabal, let me see if I don't remember what happened. I know that Nabal ended up dying and they called him a fool. Remember? That's what his name meant, fool.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, yeah. I do vaguely remember that. I don't know why this. I'm gapping that. Like I know we just read it like a couple
Yeah,
weeks ago.
he died. He dropped dead because here I'm looking at the name of it. It says a man from of Carmel who spurned Daweed's messengers, then died of shock when he realized it might cause his death. Remember,
Hmm.
Abigail was pleading for him. It's like, my husband's a fool. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, right, right, right.
because
Okay.
he was
Yeah,
supposed to
yeah.
give them some. He was supposed to go. Yeah, remember he was supposed to. David had went to or sent his men to Carmel to get some food or something, and he was like, "Man, I ain't, I'm not giving y'all nothing." And he talked real rude to him. And
Uh-huh.
David was on his way to go kill him.
Oh. Okay, okay, okay. Kind. So he ended up just taking her and making so he was dead. So it's not like he took his wife. I
Yeah,
mean, he was
kind.
dead. So
Right, right.
okay. Okay, yeah, kind. I remember now. I remember now. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cause yeah, so she would have been left with nothing. And so he was like, come with me. And yeah, so okay. All right. Well, let's continue here. Verse 16. I don't know how I forgot that. I mean, we just read it. It wasn't last week, it was the week before that.
Con. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. It was that Sabbath. It was when we started chapter two here. So I
Uh
mean
huh.
book two, I mean. Um all right, chapter six Salakia, chapter 12, 2 Samuel chapter 12, verse number 16. The loss of a child. Dawid therefore besought the most high for the child, and Dawid fasted and went in and laid all night upon the earth. And the elders of the house arose and went to him to raise him up from the earth, but he would not, neither did he eat bread with them. And it came to pass on the seventh day that the child died, and the servants of Dawid feared to tell him that the child was dead. For they said, behold, while the child was yet alive, we spake unto him, and he would not hearken unto our voice. How will he then vex him? How will he then vex himself if we tell him that the child is dead? So they was thinking that, oh, he's doing all of this for the child, and if he find out this child is dead, he may just kill himself. Uh, verse 19. But when Dawid saw the servants whispering, Dawid perceived that the child was dead. Therefore Dawid said unto his servants, is the child dead? And they said, he is dead. Then Dawid arose from the earth and washed and anointed himself and changed his apparel and came into the house of Yahuwah and worshiped. Then he came to his own house. And when he required they set bread before him, and he did eat.
You know, a lot of a lot of non-Messianics. Oh, Salakia. A lot of
The-
non-Messianics will say that they don't believe in Mashiach because in the law it says that a son shall not die for the
for
sins of the
sins of the
father,
father,
and the father shall not die for the sins
sins
of
of the son.
the son. So
Hmm.
they say that Mashiach can't have died for our sins because we
Right.
don't do that, right? But that's
What we see here.
exactly,
Exactly
exactly.
what we see. This child died because of what his father did. I mean, that's exactly what we see. And they don't even give him a name. They just call him the child.
And
It's,
what what I would remind the Messianics to remember, those laws were for how we were to deal with one another, not
mhm.
necessarily how the Most High would deal with us. He tells us in Shemot 20 that visiting the iniquities of the fathers upon the children.
To the third and the fourth generation.
Yeah. So this is how he deals with us, not how we're
Hmm.
supposed to deal with each other, though.
Right, right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, indeed. And then, you get to the understanding, the reason Dawid was able to do that and not be put to death himself was because, you didn't have two or three witnesses. Effectively, you did, but you had the Torah says, uh, if a man, the witnesses have to be first
Uh huh.
to cast a stone.
Yep.
So, what I'm saying? So you have to have somebody who actually saw them in the act. Like you didn't see the act, you can't just say, "Oh, you pregnant now? I'm gonna put you to death," or "Oh, you was laying with somebody, so something happened." No, it's got to be, what I'm saying? You have to see them, physically see them, and that's been a lot of the conversation with the woman who was taken in the very act and brought to Hamashiach. So they bring this woman and say this woman was caught in adultery in the very act. Moshe said that she should be stoned. What do you say? And Hamashiach wrote their names in the earth, and or they say he wrote something in the earth, but it was pretty sure that he wrote their names in the earth. So um, he didn't condemn the woman because they didn't do the thing right. Now, reality, if they'd have brought the man and the woman, it would have been a different situation because the Torah says that whoever the witnesses are, the two or three, their hand should be first to put them to death. But in this situation, and apparently in that situation, it wasn't done right because David didn't have you know. But what's strange? What's even stranger though, that would make him not strange, but ironic is we reading this. This is Second Samuel. Samuel is long dead.
Yeah, come.
You thought about that? Like we reading all of this. Samuel is long dead.
Yeah.
Like how is this his second book? I guess
Yeah.
his scribe is writing it. You
Yeah,
know.
I'm not exactly. I mean, that's a legitimate question. I don't
Yeah.
seem like it would have been named after Nathan,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
Gad, but apparently, there is a book of Nathan out there somewhere.
Is it? Wow. Okay. Yeah, I hope we get all our books back. Well, we won't need our books when Hamashiach come and he'll give us all the information. But, you know, you just imagine sitting there listening to him tell us all of this, putting us all on the same information. You know what I'm saying? So that's gonna be beautiful, beautiful. But
All
yeah,
praises.
hallelujah, indeed. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's because this must have been his scribe that was doing his writing. And so, well, even though he was dead, it was still his book because it's his scribe. I'm guessing that would be my best guess. So, verse 21. Let's continue here. Second Sam Salakia, Second Samuel chapter 12, verse 21. Then said his servant unto him, "What thing is that you have done?" You did you did fast and weep for the child while it was yet alive. But when the was dead, you did rise and eat bread? And he said, while the child was yet alive, I fasted and wept. For I said, who can tell whether the Most High, or that should be Yahuwah, whether Yahuwah will will be gracious to me, that the child may live. But now that he is dead, uh, wherefore should I fast? Can I bring him back again? I shall go to him, but he shall not return to me. So, man, that's beautiful. Dawid knew exactly what it was, and you know what I'm saying. He like, yo, no sense of me sitting back. Now that he's gone, yeah, I can't bring him back, but I can go to him. So I got to get back on the straight and narrow.
Okay.
That's effectively that's what he's saying here. Um, verse 24. Solomon's born, and Dawid comforted Bathsheba his wife, and went in unto her, and lay with her, and she bare a son, and called his name Solomon. And Yahuwah loved him. Loved Solomon?
Uh-huh.
Oh,
What's
that's
that?
beautiful.
I remember we were talking about Bathsheba last night, but yeah, let's look at both those names, I guess.
Okay, let's check it out. Yeah. Bathsheba, daughter of an oath, the wife of Uriah, whom David had murdered,
Man.
having an adulterous relationship with her, subsequently wife of David, mother of Solomon, Shemash, Shema,
Shemia.
Mia, uh, Shobah, and Nathan. So he named his child one of the after the prophet.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's beautiful. Like he got me in check. Yahuwah leaves something to check me, so I'm gonna name you after him. Let's see what else we see. Daughter of an oath for compass, or daughter of 7 years. Bathsheba, the wife of Uriah, defiled. Look, it said defiled by David, who married her. Her husband killed. I guess that's what he did. Yeah, he defiled her when he laid with her, and she belonged to another man. Like, man, I don't know how you do that. Yeah, let's check out slow mo. I know his name means Shalomo, Shiloh,
Yeah, he
Shalom,
said, yeah, Shlomo.
Shlomo,
Shlomo.
con.
Shlomo.
I've heard other people say that. That's where I get it from.
Yeah.
Slow mo means peace, and third ruler of Israel. So he take over after his father. Um, wow. Okay, let's continue here. Um, I almost want to look. Let's Google her name and see what we can find, because it really didn't tell us what that was, what the meaning of it was. She been known as the Bible.
And I was did it tell us who her father was?
No, it didn't even. Ironically, let me go back to it. Ironically, it didn't even go into that. That's why I was trying to find anything else. Uh, what happened to Bathsheba? Why did David marry Bathsheba? Why did Uriah not sleep with his wife? She got a Wikipedia page.
Right.
Wow, that's strange. Yeah, uh, I don't see became wife and Uriah killed. Da, da, da. Look at this mess. Heck out of here with that. Beautiful clear king Became pregnant. Yeah. I was trying to see if there was anything else that that would give us some understanding of who she was, where she came from. But yeah, it doesn't.
So apparently last night we read about a man named Elam,
Uh-huh.
and Elam is the father of Bathsheba.
I remember seeing Elam. Where you find that he's the father?
It's this is 2 Samuel 11:3. So no, we
Oh,
just read that today.
yeah, we read that just a minute ago. Uh, and three?
Yeah, okay, yeah, we did read.
Oh,
Yep.
it did. Oh, Slakia, my bad. Yeah, we did just read this. Is this not Bathsheba, daughter of Elam? We didn't look at Elam.
No, we didn't.
Okay, let's check out Elam. L-E-M. Uh, Most High of the people. Most High is kinsman, Bathsheba's father, a Gileadite warrior of David. What is that?
Yeah, Khan, Gilonite.
Gileadite. What the heck is a Gileadite? Slacky. Okay, I'm
And
tripping.
where are they at today?
Right. Advisor of King David.
Yeah, that's Iliam's father.
Ilion.
Yeah, that's Bathsheba's grandfather, Antiopa.
Oh, he committed suicide?
I didn't know that.
Well, that's what this says. I don't know how true it is, but who is Gileon in the Bible? Who is Gileon? Gileon in the Bible. Huh. Yeah, it's strange that they didn't put that right in under her name.
Uh-huh.
You know, that this was her father. Because it's here, but it's not under her name, which is strange. Because it should have been. Father of Bathsheba. Huh. Well, I don't know who this man is though. Uh I'm like, want to know so bad. David's counselor from the city. So I don't know.
And you know, it
I,
looks like we're gonna get to it today though in 15.
15 and 12. Okay, con. Well, let's continue then. Let's continue. Okay. It's lucky. I'm just discombobulated. Okay, con. All right. Flux of her. So well we
And we were talking
13.
about where Solomon,
Oh yeah. So
Shlomo.
okay, con. So okay, Solomon's born. Here we go. All right. And yeah, okay. Verse 626.
Not did we read? I don't think we read 25.
Okay, Salaki. And Yahuwah loved him. Yep, con. So we at 25. And he sent by the hand of Nathan the prophet and called his name Jedediah because of Yahuwah. And he sent by the hand of Nathan the prophet, and he called his name Jedediah because of Yahuwah. So was he talking about Solomon?
Yep, that's another name for him.
Was Jedediah? Okay,
Uh-huh.
con.
I
Okay.
wonder what it means though.
Yeah, let's check that. Did we look at Nathan? We did look at Nathan, didn't we?
Uh
Maybe not. Okay.
actually I don't remember.
Yeah, let's go ahead. Nathan,
Nathan. That's
giver.
my brother's name.
Oh yeah, con. Yeah, I think we did the other day because I remember you saying that because this wasn't the first time we see Nathan here. Yeah, first time we saw it was in 5. So okay, let's check out Yedidiah. 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 Yed E D-E-H. Die. Beloved of Yahuwah. Hmm. That's a pretty good name.
Hmm.
That's a really good name, actually. That's kind of with his father's name, because his father's name means beloved. Then you add beloved of. It's ironic that he says because Yahuwah loved him. Wow, that shows you what kind of relationship they really had. Him and the Most High, and well, the messenger of the Most High, the representative of the Most High, and that we like he loved his son, even though his son was the product of, you see that about any of the other children. That's very
Gone,
ironic.
gone.
That's very ironic. Yeah. So, um, verse 26. No judgment, just pointing out the obvious. Verse 26. And Joab fought against uh, Rahab and the children of Ammon, and took the royal city. And Joab sent messengers to Dawid and said, I have fought against Rahab and have taken the city of waters. Now therefore gather the rest of the people together and encamp against the city and take it, lest I take the city and it be called after my name.
Hmm.
Joab, what? Joab is something else. He like, look here, man. You better come get this thing, or I'm gonna put my name on it and raise myself up a kingdom.
But you know, I think he was really being humble, and he understood that he's doing a quite a lot of the fighting,
Yeah,
and the way that our people were, perhaps they would be stirred up and want to follow Joab rather than Dawid. So I mean, because he didn't have to call Dawid.
yeah. He could have just took it.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, I can see that part of it. I can see him not wanting to, but I think they, I think there was such a respect between the two, because I don't think Joab really wanted it with Dawid, but I know Dawid didn't want it with Joab. You know what I'm saying? Because as valiant as Dawid was, you know what I'm saying, he wasn't like, Joab, I'll handle you right. You know what I'm saying? Like, he never came at him like that.
right.
You know,
I
he
mean, that's
was
his,
like,
his sister's boy.
right, right. Like, you the captain of the host. Like, you my top, my top guy. And even though he did stuff he didn't agree with, just like he when he killed I
Abner.
always Abner. I always forget his name. Well, it's like when he killed Abner, he was like, "It's not on my house. It's on his house." You know what I'm saying? So even with that, he was like, he wasn't trying to make it trying to make any smoke with him. But I think that same respect uh Joab had for Dawid. So um, because he saw him do these great things, and even if he was his uncle, so I don't know. I think it was a mutual respect,
Hmm.
honestly. So verse 29. And Dawid gathered all the people together and went to Rabbah and fought against it and took it. And he took the king's crown off his head, and the weight thereof was a talent of gold with precious stones, and set it on Dawid's head. And he brought forth the spoils of the city in great abundance. Look, we done forgot all about the treachery. Now we just
Right.
killing and taking cities, and now just put the crown on his head. Verse 31. And he brought forth the people that were therein, and put them under Saul's, and under uh Har-
Harrows of iron.
Harold's of iron. Salakia. Talk to Aki. I'm like, what is that?
But when I see that saws, I'm wondering, is that like an actual saw?
Yeah, there's got to be some old English. We're gonna look at that here in just a minute. And under axes, well, maybe so. And under axes of iron, and made them pass through the brick, the brickland,
Hmm.
the brickland, and thus did he unto the city of the children of Ammon. So Dawid and all the people returned to Jerusalem. So yeah, let's take a quick look at those. I think this is cutting stuff. So I think what it says, he put them under this, meaning that he made them cutting wood, basically. Saul for stone cutting. So yeah, he basically, this is saying that he put them to work. So now look here, we the Israelites, we in charge of y'all now. You work for us. Uh, take this saw, cut this stone. Uh, Harrows of iron. So let's see what that Harrows is. Because I kind of looked at that and my thought was narrow, but I knew that was an old English word. I just wasn't for sure what the heck, how to start with that. Haret, Harets.
Uh-huh. And we saw that before.
Oh, we did a
Yeah,
cutting
we
instrument.
did. We
Okay.
did. I forget what we were looking at, but I
Oh, it
guess
was
we
in
had
First Sam.
questions when we saw it then.
Yeah, because it was in First Sam.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we probably did was. Oh, so it was cheeses before in First Sam
Huh.
that carry these 10 cheeses. So we probably did look at it like, what is cheeses?
Wow.
Yeah, well, we probably did look at it back. So that would have been what, a couple weeks
About a
ago, a
month.
few
Yeah,
weeks ago.
about a month. Well, probably about 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, kind of back in 17. Yeah, because we had to finish First Sam, and yeah, we see it here. So, and yeah, it's gonna be Harold next time we see it in Chronicles. So, all right. Um, so yeah, so putting them to work under axes and pass through the brickland. Let's see what this word is. Brickland. Uh,
Malbang.
Malbang. Malbang. Yeah, brick mold, brick clean, kindling, kinning, quad, quadring,
Quadrangle.
quadrangle. What the world is quadrangle?
It's like some type of quarry or something.
Corey. Huh.
Yeah, somewhere where work is being done.
Oh, okay. Let's see what. Okay, kind. Geometric standards. Sheet of you. Okay, so maybe that describes. Okay, like this right here. So maybe that's what it was describing.
Uh-huh.
Like a setup like that. Okay, kind. Okay. Look, you learn so much in these scripts, boy. And just,
Right.
I mean, it take you into some stuff you ain't never. I was like, what was that? Okay, kind. Let's go. Just keep going. Chapter 13. All right. Amnon and Tamar. Verse 1. 2 Samuel chapter 13 and verse 1. And it came to pass after this that uh, Absalom, the son of Dawid, had a fair sister whose name was Tamar, and Amnon, the son of Dawid, loved her. Oh yeah, that's gonna get into some folly here.
Yeah, man. Like you got to remember the law. You're
Kind,
not to see or uncover your sister's nakedness. Though the daughter of your father,
kind. I said
her
his name
nakedness
completely
shall you not
wrong. It's
uncover.
Absalom. I don't know what I said. Absalom. Ain't no H on there. Absalom. I'm tripping. Okay. My father is peace. I think we did look at his name before.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Kind. Let's continue. Um, Tamar we're familiar with from Yehuda's time. And okay, let's continue. Verse 2. And Ammon was so vexed that he fell sick for his sister Tamar, for she was a virgin. And Ammon thought he thought it hard for him to do anything to her. But Ammon had a friend whose name was I don't know how to say that. Yonadab.
Yonadab,
Okay, Yonadab. I had to look at his name. The son of Shemish,
Shemaiah.
Shemiah, Dawid's brother. And Jonadab was a very subtle man. All right, let's check out Amon first thing. Not yeah, faithful. I think we did look at this in his name. Um, Jonadab, Jonadab, yeah,
And
Khan,
this is Dawid's nephew.
yeah, Khan, Yahuwah is willing. Sound like a good name, but son of Shemish,
Shema.
Shemya, Shema, Fame.
Hmm.
Hmm. All right, all right, and he was a subtle man. You know who else was mentioned as subtle?
Man,
The serpent. Yeah,
indeed.
yes, indeed. So, verse 4. And he said unto him, why are you, being the king's son, lean from day to day? Will you not tell me? And Ammon said unto him, I love Tamar, my brother Abner's sister. She your sister too, sucker.
Right, right, right,
My brother Abner's sister. What kind of mess is that? That's how you trick yourself into thinking that you can do something you ain't got no business doing. You don't call it what it is. You call it something. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like me calling my brother my mother's son. Like that's my brother. I
right,
can't do
right,
something to him. I'm gonna tell my mom I'm gonna do something to your son. You know what I'm saying? Like that's my brother. You know what I'm
right.
saying? You can't do that. That's wrong. Verse 5. And Yonadab said to him, lay you down in your bed and make yourself sick. And when your father comes to see you, say to him, I pray you, let my sister Tamar come and give me meat and dress the meat in my sight, that I may see it and eat it from her hand. And Ammon lay down and made himself sick. And when the king came, and then when the king was come to see him, Ammon said unto the king, I pray you, let Tamar, my sister, come and make me a couple of cakes in my sight, that I may eat at her hand. Then Dawid sent home to Tamar, saying, go now to your brother uh, Ammon's house and dress him meat. He didn't think that strange. Like, why are you asking for your sister?
You know, this reminds me of a conversation that I had with my barber years ago.
Uh-huh.
He was telling me he was at the family reunion, and him and his cousin, one of his cousins, was walking around holding hands, and they ended up having a relationship.
Uh-huh.
And he said his father pulled him to the side. He's like, "Look, man, that's your cousin." That's what Dawid should have been like. Look, man, this your sister.
Right. I mean, it seemed like he would have said, why your sister? Why not? Cousins actually allowed. And,
Right,
when we
right.
read, yeah, when we read, dude, and I know that's it's taboo in this society, but if you go east, you go to Africa, it's way more common,
Hmm.
uh, where you would take your daughter and give it to uh, your brother's son, give her to your brother's son, because that's how you remember Benaiah, uh, when he talks about the swarthy Yahudim,
Uh-huh.
uh, he always say that they married, within themselves.
Uh-huh.
So that's how you do it. You don't, of course, you can't do mother, father, brother, sister, uncle, auntie, but cousins are not mentioned in there, and that's how you keep your bloodline clean. And so, they'll tell you, oh, you can't do that because you'll have children that'll be messed up, but they did it, and I don't, I don't, I don't think as taboo as they make it seem like it is. I think you're far enough away from your uncle's children. I think that's far enough away that you're not, it's no problem there. So, uh, verse 8, and I don't know, it's strange that Dawid would say, yeah, why don't you go take care of your brother? Like, how about I send you a nurse instead?
Right,
You
right.
know what I'm saying? Like, let me do that. I think that'll be better. He was off. See, if Yahuwah would have been with him, he would have. Well, he was with him, but I don't know. He inquired about Yahuwah over everything else, but this thing he just let slip right past him. Which I guess if I put myself in the legitimately, if I look at this, I probably could see, you know, my son saying, "Send my sister to come take care of me." Like your sister, I don't know. I wouldn't. I wouldn't see that. I'd be like,
Yeah,
nah.
I think we would definitely discern that type of situation and be leery of that
Yeah,
type of situation nowadays.
not your sister. No, no, not your sister. All right, verse 8. Kind, especially after reading this, especially after understanding the situation. So, um, yeah, unfortunately, they had to be the story. They didn't, you know. So, verse 8. So Tamar went to her brother Amon's house, Amnon. I don't know why I keep saying his name wrong. Amnon's house, and he lied, slick eye, and he was lying. He was laid down as she poured flour and kneaded and made cakes in his sight, and did bake the cakes. And she took a pan and poured them out before him, but he refused to eat. Just like you. And Amnon said, uh, "Have out all men before me." Now, when he say that, that's the time for you to go.
Hmm.
And they went out, every man from him. And Amnon said to Tamar, "Bring the meat unto the chamber, that I may eat of your hand." And Tamar took the cake which she had made, and brought it unto the chamber of Amnon her brother. And when she had brought them unto him to eat, he took hold of her, and said to her, "Come, lie with me, my sister." What? That don't even go together.
Right.
Come and what? And she answered him, "Nay, my brother, do not force me, for no such thing ought to be done in Israel. Do not, do not you this folly. And I rather, Slakia, and I rather shall I cause my shame to go. And as for you, you shall be as one of the fools in Israel. Now therefore I pray you, speak unto the king, for he will not withhold me from you. He gonna kill you if you go to him and tell him you want me.
Right.
Verse 14. Howbeit he would not listen unto her voice, but being stronger than she, forced her and lay with her. Then Ammon hated her exceedingly, so that the hatred wherefore he hated her was greater than the love wherefore he loved her. And Amnon said unto her, "Arise, be gone." Like, get on out of here.
Wow.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I don't even know how you do something like that. That's crazy. I wonder how old they were. And she said unto him, "There is no cause. This evil is in sending me away is greater than that which you did unto me." But he would not hearken unto her. Then he called his servant that ministered unto him, and said, "Put now this woman out from me, and bolt the door after her."
Mm.
Like, get her out of here and lock the door after she gone. Verse 18. And she had a garment of diverse colors upon her, for there were such robes were kings' daughters that were virgin apparelled, that his servant brought her out and bolted the door after her. So wait a minute. She had a garment of diverse colors?
Sound like yourself.
Con, diverse colors. Yeah, I wonder if that is the same pass. Flat 37. Let's see what that is. Now Israel love. Yep, it sure is. Same word.
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Let's continue. Verse 19. And Tamar put ashes on her head and rent her garment of diverse colors that was on her, and laid her hand on her head, and went on crying. And Absalom, her brother, said to her, have Amnon your brother been with you? What? Like how he know, like right off the bat. But hold now your peace, my sister. He is your brother. Regard not this thing. So Tamar remained desolate. That's right, desolate in her brother Absalom's house. So these children got their own house. They all got their own. Oh my goodness, we so far removed from where we need to be. They all got their own houses. Uh, wow. Okay, continue. Verse 21. But when King David heard of all the things, he was very wroth. I knew it was gonna be. He don't take stuff like that lightly. Verse 22. And Absalom spoke unto his brother Amnon, neither good nor bad, for Absalom hated Amnon because he had forced his sister Tamar. And it came to pass after 2 full years that Absalom had sheep shears in Evil Hazon, which is beside Ephraim. And Absalom invited all the king's sons. Absalom avenges Tamar. Verse 24. And Absalom came to the king and said, behold, now your servant have sheep shears. Let the king, I beseech you, and his servants go with your servants. And the king said unto Absalom, nay, my son, let us not all go, Slicker. Let us not let us not all now go, lest we be charged unto you. And be and he pressed him, howbeit he would not go, but blessed him. Then said Absalom, if not, I pray you, let my brother Amnon go with us. And the king said unto him, why should he go with you? But Absalom pressed him that he let Amnon and all the king's sons go with him. Now Absalom was commanded, Slicker. Now Absalom had commanded his servants, saying, mark you now any Slakia. Uh, mark you now, uh, Slakia. I lost my place.
Verse 28. Mark ye now when Abner's heart is merry.
with wine. And when I say unto you, smite Amnon and kill him, fear not, have not I commanded you? Be courageous and be valiant. Okay, kind. Todaraki.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 29. And the servant of Absalom did unto Amnon as Absalom had commanded. And all the king's sons arose, and every man got him up unto his mule and fled. So they all ran. Verse 30. And it came to pass while they were in the way, they that tidings came to David, saying, Absalom hath slain all the king's sons, and there was none of them left. And the king arose and tare his garment, and lay on the earth, and all his servants stood by with their clothes rent.
Wait a minute, but that's not what happened, was it?
That's not what happened. No,
All right.
no, but that's what they came and told him. So it got twisted. The story got twisted up. Verse 32. And 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 Yonadab, the son of Shemish, David's brother, answered and said, Let not my master uh, purpose that that they have slain all the young men of the king's sons, and Amnon only is dead. For by the appointment of Absalom that have been determined for the day that he forced his sister Tamar. So why he wait 2 years? I don't really see that. That's something that you handle
Yeah, you
right in.
take exactly. You know what I
Go right
mean?
in there and go right at him. You don't. And why he let his servant do it? I would have did that myself. Like he didn't give his sister to his servant. He took her himself. You should have grabbed him with. I mean, I don't know. I don't. I think in that. I think if I was in that situation, I would have probably grabbed him by the throat. and but then you would
And
have.
it just doesn't seem like there was I mean, no real justice for Tamar
Nah,
until now. So she's got to deal with this for a whole 2 years. You know what I
two
mean? With the
years.
shame.
So looking at him. So she done been defiled. She's supposed to be like you couldn't. She could. They couldn't marry. Like that's basically what she wanted. I guess she like you putting me away is worse than you doing this in the first place. Like I don't know about that, but and like he could have married you, but yeah,
Right.
you did defile her, so now she's not a virgin anymore. So that's terrible. Um, verse 33. Now therefore, let not my master the king take the thing to his heart to think that all the king's sons are dead, for Amnon only is dead. But Absalom fled, and the young men that kept that kept the watch lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, there came people, there came much people by the way of the hillside behind him. And and Yonadab said unto the king, Behold, the king's sons come. And your servant said, So it is. I don't know why they all ran when he got hit.
You
Uh,
know, I think knowing what we know about Absalom, I think it was something about him, and there was probably a natural unease with him anyway. You know what I mean?
yeah. Well, I
Uh,
mean that could have been about what's his name as well that got killed. What's his name? I'm so bad with these names. That just got killed.
Amnon.
Amnon Khan. Yeah, I was looking for it.
But and then like you know, okay, Absalom. Well, you know what? You're right because it wasn't like Absalom was the one that did it, but we're dealing with the way of the world at this time, and
Yes.
perhaps they thought, okay, well they're killing Dawid's sons, like maybe
Yeah. And just
it's a
fled.
coup or
Yeah.
something.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. That did make sense. Okay. That does kind of put it in perspective. Like, oh, they after us. Unless all of a sudden he fall on his brother and they just jumped on their mules and was out. Like, I get it. I get that. Yeah, that makes sense. So, um, verse 36. Was it 36?
Uh, let's see. Yeah, we're ready for. We're ready for 36.
Okay, con. And it came to pass, as soon as he had made an end of speaking, that behold, Salakia, that behold, the king's son came and lifted up their voice and wept. And the king also and all his servants wept very sore. And Absalom fled and went to take to Tamar, the son of Am, Am,
Amihud.
Aminihu, Khan Todaraki, king of Gezer,
Mhm.
and Dawid mourned for his son every day. Why? Why are you mourning for the boy that raped your daughter? I mean, I understand that's your son, but man, he did this great. I'm surprised you didn't handle it. Honestly,
Right,
I'm really surprised he didn't like. He didn't. I don't think he said anything. He said he was wroth, but that was it. Like, you know what I don't know. Abba, don't please don't put me in that position. I don't know what I'd do if I happened to my daughter by hand of one of her brothers. Verse 38. So Absalom fled and went to uh, Gezer, and was there 3 years. Wow, so we talking a 5 year span. Uh, and the soul of King Dawid longed to go forth unto Absalom, for he was comforted concerning Amnon, seeing he was dead. He was comforted concerning Amnon, seeing he was dead. Yeah, I don't know. I think if you would have did what you should have done, which was seriously check that boy. I don't even know what happened. I mean, it doesn't say what actually happened in that situation. If he really, that's not something you can sternly talk about. Like worst case, they should have been boxing.
right.
Well, I mean, best case, I should say, best case, they should have been boxing. Worst case, he should have tossed him a sword and like, if you can beat me, then you deserve your life. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, I don't know. I don't know what you do in a situation like that. Like you cannot defile my daughter. That is unheard of in Israel. Well, it's not unheard of. I mean, you know, well, it's unheard of in this context. But considering what Reuben did with
Right.
yeah, with his father's concubine, but this thing is not should not be done. And
And
yeah,
we also have to remember that it's prophesied that the sword would not depart
yeah,
from his house.
right,
So,
right, kind of.
these things could have been stirred up, you know.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, if he wouldn't have dealt with that with Bathsheba, and that wouldn't have been the case. I think it wouldn't have been. I think it wouldn't have been the case here. Um, I mean, that was truly our demise. You know, I think I don't know if we would have came down if he would have did what I said. Like that's oh well, never mind. You know, if he'd have said, "Well, go fetch me a nice single woman and bring her to me and put her in a tub of water," he could have did that and been good. Give me a single woman and put her in a tub of water. But
Kind.
because he did not, instead he chose to take this woman from this man, even though he knew better. So oh man, that's That's hard. So, all right, chapter 14. We got these last couple chapters here. I think this one is, yeah, 33. So, you mind picking this one up on?
Indeed, Aki.
Hold on.
This is the book of Second Shemuel, chapter 14, the woman of Tekoa, verse 1. Now Joab, the son of Zeruiah, perceived that the king's heart was toward Absalom. Let's see. Yeah, kind. And Joab sent to Tekoa and fetched thence a wise woman and said unto her, I pray thee, feign thyself to be a mourner, and put on now mourning apparel, and anoint not thyself with oil, but be as a woman that had a long time mourned for the dead, and it and come to the king and speak on this matter unto him. So Joab put the words in her mouth. And when the woman of Tekoa spake to the king, she fell on her face to the ground and did obstinance and said, Help, O king. And the king said unto her, What aileth thee? And she answered, I am indeed a widowed woman, and mine husband is dead. And thy handmaid had 2 sons, and they two strove together in the field, and there was none to part them, but the one smote the other and slew him. And behold, the whole family is risen against thine handmaid, and they said, Deliver him that smote his brother, that we may kill him for the life of his brother whom he slew. And we will destroy the heir also, and so they shall quench my coal which is left, and shall not leave to my husband neither name nor remainder upon the earth. And the king said unto the woman, Go to thine house, and I will give charge concerning thee. And the woman of Tekoa said unto the king, My master, O king, the iniquity be on me and on my father's house, and the king and his throne shall be, and the king and the throne be guiltless.
Salakia. Let's check out this decor real quick. I
Yeah,
forgot about that.
con,
Um, Toe,
Tekoe.
Tekoe. See, Tekoa, trumpet blast. Inhabitants of Tekoa. Hmm. An inhabitant of Tekoa, or also means trumpet blast. Huh. Okay. Let's continue.
Con. Verse
10.
10. And the
Is that
king
right?
said, yeah, that's right.
Okay, con.
And the king said, Whosoever saith aught unto thee, bring him to me, and he shall not touch thee any more. Then said she, I pray thee, let the king remember Yahweh thy power, that thou wouldest not suffer the revengers of blood to destroy any more, lest they destroy my son. And he said, As Yahweh liveth, there shall not one hair of thy son fall unto the earth.
Mm.
Then the woman said, Let thine handmaid, I pray thee, speak one word unto my master the king. And he said, Say on. And the woman said, Wherefore then hast thou thought such a thing against the people of the Most High? For the king do speak this thing as one which is faulty, and that the king do not fetch home again his banished. For we must needs die, and are as water spilt on the ground, which cannot be gathered up again. Neither do the Most High respect any person,
Mm.
yet do he devise means that his banish be not expelled from him. Now therefore, that I come, Salakia, verse 15. Now therefore that I am come to speak of this thing unto my master the king, it is because the people have made me afraid, and thy handmaid said, I will now speak unto the king. It may be that the king will perform the request of his handmaid, for the king will hear to deliver his handmaid out of the hand of the man that would destroy me and my son together out of the inheritance of the Most High.
Mm.
Then thine handmaid said, the word of my master the king shall now be comfortable. For as the angel of the Most High, so is my master the king to discern good and bad. Therefore, Yahweh thy power will be with thee. Then the king answered and said unto the woman, hide not from me, I pray you, the thing that I shall ask thee. And the woman said, let my master the king now speak. And the king said, is not the hand of Joab with thee in all this? Con.
That's pretty good, Dawood.
Yep.
That's pretty good.
And the woman answered and said, as thy soul liveth, my master the king, none can turn to the right hand or to the left from aught that my master the king hath spoken. For thy servant Joab, he bade me, and he put all these words in the mouth of thine handmaid. To fetch about this form of speech hath thy servant Joab done this thing, and my master is wise, according to the wisdom of the angel of the Most High, to know all things that are in the earth.
Uh.
So it's like she started off doing what Absalom said, but then it was like at some point she was like, let me go ahead and tell him the truth in a form.
Yeah, well, Joab, yeah, because Joab was like, look here, uh, I think I think he want to bring Absalom back. Which, okay, so now you got two situations. You didn't handle the first one. You're not handling the second one, and the more you don't handle, the worse it gets.
Yeah, come,
You know what I'm
come.
saying? Like you didn't handle the Tamar situation, so Absalom killed the one that raped her. You should have handled that. Now he's been gone, what, 3 years? And Joab is like, oh, now you wish Absalom was here. Look, I didn't even like the incense, Salika. But you didn't handle that. So now you got Absalom who done killed your son who raped your daughter. I mean, he should have let you handle that. You should have handled it. But 2 years went by. So maybe that's why he waited so long to give his father time to take care of it.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing came of it. So he took it up on himself. So yeah, he was out of line. Don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna say he wasn't out of line, but he really gave Dawid time to take care of it, and he did not. Now he been gone for 3 years, and apparently he's about to call him and tell him to come back.
Come.
So yeah, I don't it's rough dealing with your children. Uh, I just imagine, I hate to put myself in this position, but I just imagine, a situation like this. Something happened with your daughter. Your son is the culprit, and your other son, you know, he strikes him, takes him out. Now he flees for fear that you're gonna do something to him. So you can't just sweep it under the rug. I mean, you're the king. You gotta uh, judge the people, even your own house, especially your own house.
Yeah, come.
So he really messed up not dealing with that, because if he would have dealt with it, that would have been the end of it. Absalom wouldn't even had a reason to. It wouldn't even been a situation. But man, yeah. Again, these things that are written before time were written for our learning. So you got to learn from this. Like, man, he didn't address the situation. Like he was wroth, we saw that, but he didn't provide any resolution. He didn't say you're gonna marry this girl. He didn't say anything. He just was wroth. That was it. And then 2 years went by, and here we are.
Yeah,
Now
come.
3 years. 3 years from that, after his son kills his other son, or had his servant to do it, then here we are. So let's continue, Art.
All right, verse 21. Absalom is recalled. And the king said unto Joab, Behold now, I have done this thing. Go therefore, bring the young man Absalom again. And Joab fell to the ground on his face and bowed himself and thanked the king. And Joab said, Today thy servant knoweth that I have found grace in thy sight, my master, O king, and that the king hath fulfilled the request of his servant. You know, I wonder why Joab was so invested in Absalom's return.
Well, I think in this situation, what we just read, I think him finding he knew that his little plan to find out where the king was on that situation
Okay.
had fell through,
Uh-huh.
and he kind of thought maybe
He
you
might
know
be upset with him and
yeah
yeah, I
maybe
got you.
maybe he might kill him
Uh-huh.
because David when Dawood get upset he kill people die
Right.
so and who gonna question him, he the king, the most high of course, but his representative, but outside of that, he's really got no, there's nobody really holding him accountable, except to him to do the right thing, except for the messenger of the Most High, so or the prophets as well. So yeah.
God. Verse 23. So Joab arose and went to Gersha and brought Absalom to Jerusalem. And the king said, Let him turn, Slakia, let him turn to his own house, and let him not see my face. So Absalom returned to his own house and saw not the king's face.
So why bring him back if that's the case? Either it's got to be one or two things. Either you're gonna bring him back to embrace him, or you're gonna bring him back to kill him. Those
Mm,
will be the only two. Those are the only two reasonable outcomes. Either you're gonna say, "I understand why you did what you did. It was really my fault. I'm sorry," and you embrace him, or you kill my son and you didn't talk to me about it first. Now you got to die.
mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like those are the only two conversations you need to have. Not bring him back. Okay, I don't want to see him. Like, why bring him back? Leave him where he was at. Okay, again, this is not me ragging on Dawid. I'm not doing that. This is just a ironic situation that exists or existed. So okay, I said that thing won't even go away. Okay, con.
All right.
Hold on one second. This stupid thing is popping up. Okay, there we go. There we go. Oh goodness gracious. Close. Slakia. Okay, I think we're
All
good
right.
now.
Verse 25. But in all Israel there was none to be so much praised as Absalom for his beauty. From the sole of his foot even to the crown of his head, there was no blemish in him. And when he polled his head, for it was every year's end that he polled it, because the hair was heavy, because the hair was heavy on him. Therefore he polled it. He weighed the hair of his head at 200 shekels after the king's weight.
Mm. Now, ironically, when you think about this, when you read 25, uh, there was no blemish on him. So that means he didn't have a scar, he didn't have a scab, he didn't. I mean, there was literally nothing about this young man that you know, no kind of defect, no kind of. I mean, his skin was perfect. His everything was perfectly aligned from his fingers, his feet, it says from the sole of his foot to the crown of his head, like
Right.
he was unblemished. Like that's unheard of.
Done.
You know what I'm saying? That's unheard of. But yeah, that's pretty amazing.
All right. Verse 27. And unto Absalom there were born 3 sons and one daughter, whose name was Tamar. She was a woman of fair countenance. So Absalom dwelt 2 full years in Jerusalem and saw not the king's face. Therefore Absalom sent for Joab to have sent him to the king. but he would not come to him. And when he sent again the second time, he would come not. Slakia, he would not come. Therefore he said unto his servants, See, Joab's field is near mine, and he hath barley. He hath barley there. Go and set it on fire. And Absalom's servants set the field on fire. And then Joab arose and came to Absalom unto his house, and said unto him, Wherefore hath thy servant set my field on fire?
Wow. See, and nothing is hidden. This, they so big on cameras now, but they knew everything that happened. Like whenever something went on, they knew exactly what it was. They knew who did it. He
Yeah.
came right to Absalom's house. Why your servant set my field on fire? Like, wasn't no cameras out there?
But you know, it's just like the streets.
Yeah.
The streets be talking. You know what I mean?
God, yep. Yes, indeed.
Verse 32. And Absalom answered Joab, Behold, I sent unto thee, saying, Come hither, that I may send thee to the king, to say, Wherefore am I come from Geshur? It had been good for me to have been there still. Now, therefore, let me see the king's face, and if there be any iniquity in me, let him kill me. That's just what you were saying, huh? So Joab came to the king and told him. And when he had called for Absalom, he came to the king and bowed himself on his face to the ground before the king. And the king kissed Absalom.
God, I mean, it really didn't make sense to bring him there just to set him to the side. I'm not gonna deal with you now. I just wanted you here. Like, for what? Like, I get it. I don't know. I don't know what his thinking was there, but 37. Okay. All right, we're gonna end up with chapter 15 here with this chapter. So go right ahead, Doc, if you don't mind.
Come. This is the book of 2 Shemuel, chapter 15. Absalom's conspiracy, verse 1. And it came to pass after this that Absalom prepared him chariots and horses and 50 men to run before him. And Absalom rose up early and stood beside the way of the gate. And it was so that when any man that had a controversy came to the king for judgment, then Absalom called unto him and said, Of what city art thou? And he said, Thy servant is of one of one of the tribes of Israel.
Slakia. Now it's ironic in the verse. It came to pass that after this, Absalom prepared him chariots and horses, and 50 men to run before him. Who do that?
Kings.
The king do that. So he's showing us exactly what he's doing, what his intention is. His intention is to take over.
Yep.
Now you done brought him back, and his intention is to take over. So again, he did not handle this thing right.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. Verse 3. And Absalom said unto him, See, thy matters are good and right, but there is no man deputed of the kings to hear Slakia. But there is no man deputed of the king to hear thee. Absalom said, Moreover, Oh, that I were made judge in the land, that every man which hath any suit or cause might come unto me, and I would do him justice.
Dang. He said it out of his mouth. Like, I need to be the one in charge. I need to be the one running things. I'll do much better than my father is doing.
Yeah.
I'll give you justice. I'll make this right. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. Let's continue here. That's
All right.
whew.
Verse 5. And it was so that when any man came nigh to him to do him obstinance, he put forth his hand and took him and kissed him. So he's acting like he's the king.
Right.
And on this matter did Absalom to all Israel that came to the king for judgment. So Absalom stole the hearts of the men of Israel.
So they're like, man, Absalom need to be the one in charge. He handle things, man. You see how he dealt with man. I went to see the king. I was expecting to go to the king and bow, and his son came out and took me by the hand and put his arm around me and showed me love, embraced me. Like,
Right, right.
man, he was
You know, the king didn't even do anything about his son that had raped his daughter. But but
exactly
but you know who did? But
Absalom,
but you know who Absalom did?
right? Exactly. Man, that just shows us right here. You cannot leave matters undone. And I know we in the land of our captivity, but you can't just let this, you can't just let things go. You gotta handle it. Because if you don't handle it, it's gonna get way out of control. Because this has got way out of control. And again, it just goes back. If he would have handled, um, I can never remember that boy's name. The one who got killed, who Absalom had
Abner.
killed, Abner.
Oh no,
Yeah,
you talking about the son that got killed?
yeah, kind.
Oh, that was Abnon.
Abner. Yeah, Abner. I can never remember, and Abner I had a hard time remembering too. So, if he would have handled Abner, uh, I don't think he would have had this situation with Absalom. But but the Most High said he was going to raise up in his own house.
Yep.
So maybe I don't know. It was going to have to be something. Something was going to have to give somewhere.
Come.
Yeah.
All right. Verse 7. And it came to pass after 40 years that Absalom said unto the king, I pray you, let me go and pay my vow, which I have vowed unto Yahweh in Hebron. For thy servant vowed a vow while I abode at Geshur in Syria, saying, If Yahweh shall bring me again indeed to Jerusalem, then I will serve Yahweh. So 40 years, I like
40 years
this is almost around the time. So Absalom was born before Absalom was
before Solomon.
yeah, he was definitely older than Solomon,
Hmm.
but he was born to yeah, he was born to Dawid and while he was in Hebron.
Okay. Kind.
Yeah.
Kind. So, I mean, he's got to be. If this 40 years later, so he's got to be like what? Seem like 70.
Well, yeah, Dawid was 70 when he passed. So Absalom, I'm gonna guess that Absalom was older than 40, but younger than 50. Or yeah,
What? So
yeah,
that would have made
because
him
yeah,
a.
yeah, because
That would have.
Dawid became king at 30.
Okay. So he was gone for 5 years. I mean that whole situation was like 5 years. So fast forward. So 5 years later, he brings him back, and did it say how long he was back?
Man, you right, Doc. He might be 50 something. But then that don't math right because we know that Dawid was 30 when he began ruling, right?
Hmm.
And let's see, he was 7 years in Hebron. So maybe when yeah, Absalom is about 47 years old, 47, 50 years old.
Yeah, I mean he's still got to be young enough to where he's. But how old is Dawood? He had to have been. So if he was before he reigned, so he also had him in his 20s. Was he in his 20s?
Well, I don't think he had children until he became ruler. I think that's when we hear about when he goes to and becomes the ruler of Hebron when he's 30. Um, is when he started having children, I believe, because he didn't have any children with Micah, but he had
Hmm.
children with Abigail and I forget the name of the other wife. And
Hmm.
this is when the children are born to him in Hebron, and Absalom was one of them.
Hmm. Well, I said 40 years later. I'm like 40 years.
Right.
That's a long time. So Absalom would have had to been, unless they was teenagers, Absalom would have had to been much older, because 40 years is a long time for anybody. You know what I'm saying? That's nothing to sneeze at. 40 years. I mean, if you 10, 40 years later, you 50. You know what I'm
Yeah, you're
saying?
right.
So
You're right.
so that puts him up there. Um, the question is, was he a teenager? Was he in his 20s? Was he mid 20s? Because you add 40 years to whatever, that's whatever he was at that time. So add that to King Daud. So he was 30 when he started reigning. Time went by, and so 40 years. So he's in his 70s.
Who, Absalom?
No, David.
Oh yeah, yeah. This is near the time of Dawid's getting ready to pass. He's near.
Okay.
He was 70 when he died, I believe.
Well, if he started reigning when he was 30, and Absalom is born when he's 30, let's say hypothetically, Absalom is born when he's 30. So 40 years from that point,
Man, he would have been 40.
oh, you know what I'm saying? So if he was 30, and then we get a 40 years later, at any point, he's over 70.
Yeah, you're right. You're
You know what
right.
I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That's over 70. So
Yeah.
yeah, maybe it'll tell us, on down the way, but I don't know if we'll get that in this chapter. We'll probably get that in the chapters to come.
Con.
Um, well, maybe we'll get it in Kings or Chronicles, and one of the two. So, I mean, somewhere we'll find it, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. All right, verse 9. And the king said unto him, Go in peace. So he arose and went to Hebron. But Absalom sent spies throughout all the tribes of Israel, saying, As soon as ye hear the sound of the trumpet, then ye shall say, Absalom reigneth in Hebron.
Mm.
And with Absalom went 200 men out of Jerusalem that were called, and they went in their simplicity, and they knew not anything. And Absalom sent for Ahithophel the Gilonite, David's counselor, from his city, even from Gilo, while he offered sacrifices, and the conspiracy was strong, for the people increased continually with Absalom.
All right, let's take a look at this word here, this name, Akithophel. Fet,
Um,
Fet,
that stuff, my brother is foolish.
Folly. Wow, Counselor Dawid, grandfather of Bathsheba. Oh, okay. So, did we look at that? Oh, we get
What? Now we just looked at Bathsheba's father, but this
okay,
is her father's father.
okay. Kind, her grandfather. Yeah, kind. Huh. Um, it's strange how this is so far apart because did we see him before? We seen his name before?
I don't think so.
So yeah, this is the first time we're seeing it. 15 and 12.
Yep.
So we just now getting her father. I mean her grandfather. When normally it goes Bathsheba, daughter of, but that was in the chapter before, and then it tell about who his father was or whatever the case. But I don't know why we just now seeing this. Uh, it's kind of strange. Uh, yeah, kind of strange. So let's continue.
All right. Verse 12. And Absalom, oh Slaki, I think yeah, David flees. Verse 13.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
And there came a messenger to Dawid, saying, The hearts of the men of Israel are after Absalom. And Dawid said unto all his servants that were with him at Jerusalem, Arise, and let us flee, for we shall not else escape from Absalom. Make speed to depart, lest he overtake us suddenly and bring evil upon us and smite the city with the edge of the sword.
Mm,
And the king's servants said unto the king, Behold, thy servants are ready to do whatever my master, the king, shall appoint. And the king went forth and all his household after him. And the king left 10 women, which were concubines, to keep the house.
Mm.
And the king went forth, and all the people after him, and tarried in a place that was far off. And all his servants passed on beside him, and all the Karaites, and all the Pelethites, and all the Gittites, 600 men which came after him from Gath, passed on before the king. Then said the king to Ittai the Gittite, wherefore goest thou also with us? Return to thy place, and abide with the king, for thou art a stranger, and also an exile.
Okay, let's check out Hittite. A stranger. Ittai
Ittai.
with me. Gittite, commander of Goth and David's army. One of 30 men, mighty men of Benjamin. So, yeah, which one of these is it?
Well, it wouldn't have been the Benamite, because they
A
said he was a
stranger.
stranger. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, it had to been a commander. So they're like, he's an exile and a stranger.
All right. Verse 20. Whereas thou camest but yesterday, should I this day make thee go up and down with us? Seeing I go whither I may, return thou, and take back thy brethren. Mercy and truth be with you. And Ittai answered the king and said, as Yahweh liveth, and as my master the king liveth, surely in what place my master the king shall be, whether in death or life, even there also will thy servant be.
Even in death or life, like I'll die with you. That's
Uh,
what he's saying.
well, whether the king is alive or dead, I'm gonna be
Hmm.
there.
Yeah. Wow.
All right, verse 22. And Dawid said to Ittai, go and pass over. And Ittai the Gittite passed over, and all his men, and all the little ones that were with him. And all the country wept with a loud voice, and all the people passed over. The king also himself passed over the brook Kidron, and all the people passed over toward the way of the wilderness. And lo, Zadok also, and all the Levites were with him, bearing the ark of the covenant of the Most High. And they set down the ark of the Most High, and Abiathar went up until all the people had done passing out of the city. And the king said unto Zadok, carry back the ark of the Most High into the city. If I shall find favor in the eyes of Yahweh, he will bring me again and show me both it and his habitation.
Mm.
But if he thus say, I have no delight in you, behold, here am I. Let him do to me as seemeth good unto him.
Mm.
And the king also, and the Salakia, verse 27. The king said also unto Zadok the priest, art not thou a seer? Return into the city in peace, and your two sons with you, Ahimaaz thy son, and Jonathan the son of Abiathar. See, I will tarry in the plain of the wilderness until there come word from you to certify me. Zadok, therefore, and Abiathar carried the ark of the Most High again to Jerusalem, and they tarried there. And Dawid went up by ascent of Mount Olive, and wept as he went up, and had his head covered, and he went barefoot, and all the people that was with him covered every man his head, and they went up weeping as they went up. And one told Dawid, saying, Achitophel, Achitophel is among the conspirators with Absalom. And Dawid said, O Yahweh, I pray you, turn the counsel of Achitophel into
Into
foolishness.
foolishness. That's a
And
good
the
plan.
Indeed. And it came to pass that when Dawid was come to the top of the mount where he worshipped the Most High, behold, Hushai the Archite came to meet with him, came to meet him with his coat rent and earth upon his head.
Okay, let's check out Uche here.
Man, I don't think we're gonna finish this story today, man. I was thinking it was gonna finish up in 15, but it looked like it's gonna carry over.
Oh, we only got a few more verses. I think it's ended what 20 something.
Yeah, but the conclusion of this matter with Absalom is not gonna be
Oh
resolved in
no,
this
no,
chapter, I don't
no.
think.
We're gonna pick that up next week.
Mm-hmm.
Kind. Yeah, Uche Hastings, the archite, a friend of Dawid, uh, father of Benaiah, Benaiah, Benaiah.
Ba'ana.
But I'm so bad at that double A thing. They get me every time. And the officer of Solomon, probably the same as one. Um, all right. Just curious. Yeah. All right. Go ahead. Verse 33.
Come. Unto whom Dawid said, if thou passest on with me, then thou shalt be a burden unto me. But if thou return to the city and say unto Absalom, I will be thy servant, O king, as I have been thy father's servant hitherto, so will I now know, Slakia. So will I now, yeah, Slakia. So will I now also be thy servant. Then mayest thou for me defeat the counsel of Achitophel.
Did we look at his name?
Who Achitophel?
Uh huh.
Yeah, it meant foolish counsel or something like
Oh,
that.
okay. Okay.
Well,
Got
let's check it out. I think that's what it
Okay.
meant.
Okay. Let's check it out here. 302. Akithophel.
My
Yeah, my brother's foolish folly. Yeah, we did look at that. I remember that. Kind. Oh, something happened. Knock, you lost your. Oh, no sweat. No sweat. No sweat. Can
Yeah,
you
I
still
don't
hear
know
me?
what. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you. So you can hear me. We good.
All right. Verse 35. And hast thou not there with thee Zadok and Abathar the priest? Therefore it shall be.
Knock you. Go ahead. My bad.
Therefore it shall be that what thing soever thou shalt hear out of the king's house, thou shalt tell it to Zadok and Abathar the priest. Behold, they have there with them their two sons, Ahimaaz, Zadok's son, and Jonathan, Abathar's son. And by them ye shall send unto me everything that ye can hear. So Hushai, Dawid's friend, came into the city, and Absalom came into Jerusalem.
Whew. Man, this was
That's some high drama.
yeah. Man, it's yeah, kind. It is really wow, wow. All right, well, uh, completed those 5 chapters. We're gonna go ahead to final thoughts here, and um, I'll go ahead and begin there. Give you a chance to untwist, unwind there.
Yeah, come.
Yes, indeed. Um, so wow, a lot of information coming out in this particular set of passages here. We see first thing or first, Dawid goes off and causes himself a lot of pain, not just himself, but a lot of other people cause pain, even for this child to die. Um, he took this woman who he somehow, some way could not resist, and he laid with her, even though she was a man's wife. Um, and basically, he got a great punishment. And you got to ask, was it worth it? Was it worth it to him? Was it worth it to the nation? I would say definitely not. Um, Nathan rebuked him and told him what it was. Like I said, he lost his child. Solomon was born, and now he was back at war, fighting again. Uh, You had this situation with Amnon and Tamar, and he really slipped on that one, uh, causing his son Absalom to go against his brother, and his servant killed his brother. Uh, that brings us to chapter 14, where he met this woman of Tekoa, and yeah, and he brought Absalom back after Absalom fled uh, from him for fear, I'm sure. And Absalom decides, you know what, I can do a better job of being king than you can. So at 40 years, I know we haven't gotten to the place where what happened on the roof of the house, but these women that woman had to been in her 70s, and
Hmm.
Absalom was like, I didn't realize that.
You right,
Oh my goodness gracious!
but you know
Oh
they
gracious!
probably look like Angela Bassett,
She not in her 70s, is she?
Well, she
Close
close
to it.
to it. Yeah, she close to it.
Okay, okay. Uh, how old is Angela Bassett? I don't know. Angela Bassett, she's 64. So yeah, that's close enough. I mean, she's more than halfway. Uh, well, you said you put it that way. Look, let me bring up this, bring up this picture. You put it that way. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I get it. I get it. Okay, I get it. So yeah, but yeah, that's extraordinary. Lot of drama, lot of unreal, just unsavory things here. And um, Cletus say Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom, uh,
Shabbat
Cletus,
shalom, elder.
hallelujah. Yes, indeed. Told everybody for checking us out. I hope you having a wonderful Sabbath. So all praises to the Most High. But yeah, so kind, it's like wow. It's just wow. Like lots and lots of drama, basically. So, it's just, whew, it's a lot. It's a whole lot. It's a very lot. So, 5:30 in the evening. But go ahead. That's really all I got.
Yeah, land backing off of chapter 11. On your thoughts on that. You know, the way that the prophet Nathan even brought this transgression to Dawid was it was just wise. You know what I mean? Like he didn't come out accusing him. He brought forth a parable. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So that Dawid would understand. Uh, because it's not the Most High's will that we all perish, but that we all come to repentance. You know what I mean? So the Most High wanted him to understand how he was wrong and how, you know, in his words, it's like you've hated the Most High's commandments. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like
Right.
it wasn't just your lust that got the best of you. You
Hmm.
know, your lust got the best of you when you looked on this woman and you wanted more from it, and then you
Hmm.
you fed into it. But then you go and murder, and then you go and try to cover it up. Or no, you cover it up, then you murder. You know? So yeah, it was definitely it became iniquity, I would think.
Yeah.
Um, but the Most High wants us to repent for any wrongdoing that we've committed. Um, and from that act, we get to where we're at in chapter 15.
Hmm.
That sword. I mean, what we read with Absalom killing his brother, was prophecy.
Right.
Um, even and what I'm gathering from chapter 11 is it was the time for the kings to battle,
Hmm.
but the king wasn't doing what he was supposed to be doing.
Right.
We hear that saying, "The idle mind is
Hmm.
the enemy's time."
Playground. Yep.
You know,
Yep.
so we got to stay busy doing this work.
Kind. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. That's a very good point out because I can recall many times of me horsing off, and it was largely because I didn't, what I'm saying, I had time to just fiddle faddle as
Hmm.
opposed to doing what I needed to be doing. So, kind, that's a good point.
But yeah, that's all I got. We know that these things are that were written aforetime were written for our learning, man. So
Oh, they
we
are.
learning meaning this knowledge, we it's not like we don't do anything with it. We apply it to our own lives.
Kind. Yeah, definitely, definitely. So yeah, it's definitely a good place to learn. It's sad that it had to happen the way it did. It's really not, it's really bad that it had to happen the way it did. But man, we definitely gotta take um a lot from this and learn from it and operate properly so that we don't fall into these same pit holes, these same pitfalls that we fell into.
Con.
Um, you know, Definitely learn to handle things and not just leave it, because in other situations, he was ready to get on it. He said when he gave him the parable, he was like, the man shall surely die,
Yeah, con.
you know, and he should have handled that situation. I think that would have taken things in a different direction. So uh, we'll definitely get to the bottom of what happened with Absalom next week, and we'll continue this study at chapter number 17,
16.
16, 16,
Mhm.
chapter 16. We'll read chapter 16 through. Um, Let me see how much more we have left here. So we'll go 16 through 20. Oh, we'll finish this next week.
All praise.
Yeah, we'll finish book 2 next week. So next Sabbath we'll finish it up. Because it's 24 chapters. So we'll do 16 through 20, and then 21 through 24. So that means the week after next we'll start Kings or Malachim.
Hmm.
Malachim. So all praises to the Most High for another Sabbath day, for another opportunity to get into these scripts and to be edified and get some learning. Uh, anything else?
Nothing I can think of.
All praises to the Most High. Well, I am your Akazaki Yahoo, joined by my most esteemed Aka Kenanaya. We give all praise, honor, and great esteem unto the Most High Power, Yahuwah, Bahashem, Yahushua HaMashiach, and to the 12 tribes of Israel who are scattered to the four quarters of the earth. I say Shalom, Wabarukim, that is peace and blessings. And I cannot wait till the day that the Most High brings us back together and we are once again 12 tribes, one family, one nation under the Most High power, under one covenant. Until that day, Shabbat Shalom, family.
Shabbat shalom, family.
Please, we need to come pay you a visit up there.
Yes, indeed.